Hey friends, hey friends, hey friends. This is Rose, Coach Rose AJ coming to holla at y'all with the Carnivore Connection. We have another heartfelt and soulful conversation, a story of transformation, actually. Now, y'all, I just done met Miss Patricia here, and we are kind of from the same neck of the woods, right? Because I told y'all I'm from Texas and I'm going there this weekend. So I've gotten to know Miss Patricia for a few minutes beforehand. So I'm going to just go ahead and mute myself and Miss Patricia, you go on and tell us what you want to tell us. All right.
All right. I guess I'll go back to high school when I was in high school, I was very athletic and I grew up in a very small town, one of six kids. So my mom and dad taught us how to take care of ourselves. And all of my sisters and my one brother that I have, we can do things. We take care of our business. I mean, when I work hard. When I go to work, I am there to work and collect an honest paycheck. I don't fool around. I don't talk. I mean, I talk, but it's like I'm there to work. And so a lot of times people have to tell me, hey, slow down. You can slow down. But I don't know. I just grew up that way. I'm just a workhorse. And so um went to college, got married, had kids. Everything was fine. I mean, I really didn't have a weight problem until like, I guess, 40s, 50s, just, menopause. And I started seeing my midsection grow and grow and grow. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit. So I decided to start doing some research, and I thought plant-based was the way to go. And I'm telling you, I ate grilled chicken salads for a whole year and I hated it. I did not lose weight. First of all, if you're eating salads, think about it. Think about how maybe it works for you, but it didn't work for me. I felt bloated the entire time. I was eating grilled chicken salads and I thought that was the way to go. I mean, I would bring huge salads to work for lunch, with my grilled chicken. And of course, the lettuce, the tomatoes, the cucumbers, the eggs, the bacon, the chicken, I mean, everybody but, oh, girl, that salad looks good. And of course, you put the dressing on it and all that good stuff. And it just, after I would eat, I felt, it'd take me like 3 hours for my stomach to come down, from the bloat and the inflammation. And I just kept on doing it, but I felt horrible. But I thought that was the way to eat. I thought that was the way to lose weight. So I did that for, I know, an entire year. And then we got hooked into counting macros. And that was horrible because it is so time consuming. How many proteins, how many fats, how many carbs? I'm like, okay, no, I can't do this anymore. And then I did a fasting, which I did start losing weight on fasting, but I didn't realize that I wasn't supposed to eat the standard American diet with the fasting. When I would fast and I was doing fine and I felt I wasn't bloated, I wasn't inflamed, but I was still eating bad. I was still just eating the same foods that I was eating before. And it wasn't until I found the carnivore diet that I mean, totally changed my body. Transformation. I just couldn't believe it. I just felt so good. One day I said, I need to go run. I'm like, what? I mean, I had so much energy. I busted out the door and went running. And then I started walking every day. I mean, I had so much energy. I had to walk like every day. And I love it because that's what I do now. I walk. I have to get so many steps on my Fitbit, my Apple Watch. I want to get those steps, and it helps. It really does help. But I have definitely changed the way I eat because the way I feel. And if you are listening to this, You need to pay attention to how you feel, because some people, they may be able to eat rice. Let's say they may be able to eat rice and it doesn't affect them, but like I can't eat salads. I mean, the lettuce, I mean, I eat like homegrown tomatoes and cucumbers when it's seasonal, but I'm not going to buy it from the store, because of the pesticides and all that stuff. But like my daddy grows tomatoes and cucumbers. Oh, I'm eating that. I'm eating that.
Didn't really have a weight issue until your 40s and 50s, is what I'm hearing
Hmm.
you say, if that's
Hmm.
correct.
Yes, that is
So,
correct.
with a lot of research, you found carnivore. Did
Yes.
you switch from the standard American diet and go straight into carnivore, or were you plant-based and then switched? How did that transact?
I was just coming off counting macros. So I was doing so many proteins, so many fats, so many carbs. Um, and I was fasting too. So when I found out about carnivore, and all these doctors, I was listening to Dr. Baker, Dr. Berry, Dr. Ovade. I read Dr. Ovadia's books, like Stay Off My Operating Table. I was like, oh no, I am not getting on the operating table. So I just went cold turkey. I said, I'm eating meat. I'm eating beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That's it. And I did that for probably about, I mean, it only took like say 90 days, and I felt so good. There was no going back for me. There was no going back. And I went from a size 12 and bloated and miserable to like a size 8. And I thought, this is great. And I kept going, going. And now after 3 years, I'm in a size 4. And I'm not even trying to lose weight. I mean, I did. I was like, this is crazy. I mean, I have my waist back. I mean, my back. I used to tell my friends, I think I can play football. My back is so big. My shoulders and my back so big. But now everything's just slim. Everything just is back to the way, it's supposed to be. So,
So,
yeah.
it sounds like this is the perfect lifestyle for you, way of eating, the lifestyle
Oh,
for you.
it is.
And so, what do your family and friends think of the way that you've been choosing to eat for the last 3 years? And have any of them, asked you
Yeah.
about it and tried it for themselves?
Yeah. Yes. My older I'm I'm the second to the oldest. So my oldest sister and then the one right under me, they've asked me a lot of questions, and they are actually changing the way they eat now. Yes. And so my oldest sister has lost like 45 pounds, and the third one, the youngest, the one under me, she has lost weight too. And see, she was going through the same issues that I was having. She was bloated, her midsection was growing, and now they both look amazing, and they're eating better, and they're learning a lot about it. So I just keep telling them, do your research, and look within yourself after you eat. Take note, like, how do you feel if you ate something off plan, and if it's seasonal, like, how did that make you feel? um some people, do eat a little bit of rice, and if they can handle that, then that's fine. And I don't eat rice a lot. I grew up on rice. Now, occasionally, like if I'm cooking some gumbo, I may have a little bit of rice, you know. But the one thing I like about it is if I do go off plan for one meal, then, and it usually it's something that's not going to make me feel too bad. But maybe it's like just a little bit of rice and like some gumbo. I'm going to eat that because I've reached my goal. Now, the first 3 months, I was focused, and did not go off plan. And I told myself, I'm not going off plan until I reach my goal. And so I kept I kept going and going and going. Now I feel like if I do want to eat something that is not exactly carnivore, then I mean I'm not going to stop living. You know what I mean? I'm going to enjoy my life, but knowing that I can eat that one meal and then go right back to my carnivore way of living. And I'm either going to pay for it or it's not going to be that bad. You know, it's
So
that's
what
just the,
does
I mean, you're not going to be perfect on this, you know.
Well, but there are some carnivores out in the universe that are perfect. They have their protocols about how they do carnivore, and they think everybody should do grass-fed beef. Everybody should shop at this X, Y, and Z market versus
Yeah.
Costco versus Walmart. I like that you're being realistic and you're making exceptions or
Hmm.
allowances where you deem
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
necessary,
Yeah.
and you get right back in the saddle. So,
Exactly. Because I mean, I'm telling you, I'm from the land of Cajuns where we can cook. We can cook. And I mean, especially, like if I'm gonna go to New Orleans, I mean, I'm gonna eat some food over there. But I'm gonna get right back on it when I come back. Okay, I went to Italy like 3 weeks ago. I think it was 3 weeks ago. I went to Italy for 2 weeks. Oh, that was hard because I mean, I was not used to eating pasta and bread. You know, it was hard. And I paid for it that first day. I even missed half of a tour in Venice because I was in the bathroom. Like my body was like, "Girl, what are you doing?" But I got right back on it the next day, and I ate a steak, and I ate some wings, stuff like that, and I just laid off the carbs for a while, and I just, you have to figure out how far you can go
yeah.
with it, especially if you're on vacation.
So, did
So,
you spend the rest of your vacation consuming strictly carnivore foods, or did you dibble and dabble and not have a reaction after the first one?
I had a bad reaction on the first one, but after that, a couple of days I only ate like steak and wings and stuff like that. But then I felt like my body was okay, and we did a tour, a cooking class, and we ate pork tenderloin. That was good. But we also made like the bolognese, which is we made our own pasta. So I ate just a little bit of the pasta and most of the meat, the bolognese. Then we made tiramisu and all that stuff. So, I tasted a little bit. I just didn't eat it all. And it was fine. You walk a lot there, and when I came back, I was the same weight. Did not gain any weight. So I was good.
Blessing, girl. That
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. So, would you mind telling the audience how old you almost are?
I'm almost 60. I'll be 60 in February.
Okay. And how does it feel feeling and looking this good at almost 60?
I tell you, I feel like I'm, 20, 30. I mean, I really do. I lift weights, I walk, I have a rebounder, jump on that every chance I get. I have a weighted vest that I wear just around my house cleaning. I will put my weighted vest on. Um, because I'm worried about osteoporosis, whatever the word is. I mean, but I don't want my bones to get weak, and so that's why I lift weights. But you have to eat right. I mean, it makes such a big difference. And I'm proud to say I'm 60 because I feel like I'm gonna live for a long time.
You had more clarity, mental
Oh
focus,
yeah.
brain
Oh yeah.
fog. Has that disappeared as well or improved?
I didn't really know that I had um ain't like I was anxious. I'm the kind of person, I mean, I talk to anybody, you know. I'm an extrovert, you know, but whenever I started this, I had so much clarity. I didn't worry about anything. I feel like I'm happier and I'm less anxious. Just I didn't really know that I had that problem until I started this way of eating. You don't know how good you can feel until you actually do the work. And it's work. You're going to have to prepare your food. You're going to have to leave the house knowing that, okay, what am I going to eat? What I'm going to work, what am I going to eat? I bring my food to work. I have a little toaster oven. I don't like heating my food up in the microwave. Chicken in the microwave? No. I don't like that. A steak in a no. I'm gonna bring if I bring my steak and my chicken wings or whatever, I'm gonna heat it up in my little toaster oven, because it's better. It tastes better, you know. So
Now, prior to this, you said you were intermittent fasting. So I'm curious about that. How many meals do you have per day, and do you still intermittent fast? Because I actively only do OMAD for like the past 6 years.
oh, I
So
did that. I did OMAD for when I first started fasting. I worked myself up to one meal a day, and I did that probably for about about maybe 5 months, 6 months. And then when I found carnivore, I'm like, oh, yes, I want to eat. I want to eat more than one time because I felt like I was getting too full, like I couldn't get enough food in that one meal. I don't know. I don't like eating one meal a day. I like eating 2 meals a day. And sometimes on the weekend, if I get up, I go walking, I come back. If I'm hungry, I'll cook some breakfast. I'll have eggs and bacon. And, maybe later on, I'll have a smaller meal. And then I, it is amazing how you can read your body after you start feeling so good. I mean, you have those cues that you don't have when you're eating the standard American diet. You don't know when to eat. I mean, you just looking at the time. Oh, I guess it's time to eat. But whenever you feel this good, I can usually fast until like noon. I get to work at 6:30. Everybody else is eating like at 10, 10:30, 11. I usually wait till 12 and then I'll eat at 12 and then I get off at 4. So I usually try to eat an early dinner and then just go walk in and I have to go to bed pretty early though. I have to get to work at 6:30. So
beautiful. So, and it sounds like you incorporate movement into your day where you see
yes,
fit, where
yes.
you see fit. Has
I even had a
exercise,
stand-up desk for a while. When I worked in another department, I had a stand-up desk and I would stand up the entire day and just move my legs. But now, um, I have to sit at a desk. And so at least once an hour, I get up and go outside and walk. And I come back and do my work and then get up again. It helps. It helps with productivity and it also helps with my posture, with my joints and my bones, and I have to be moving.
do you have any health concerns or are you on any medication at all? As far as, like blood
Yeah,
pressure
yeah.
medication or anything like
I was on blood pressure medicine about 7 years ago. Um, but now I'm not on any medication. I used to have low back pain. I don't have that anymore. Um, I used to have cracked heels. Like in the wintertime, my heels would crack so bad that they would bleed. And now my skin is so smooth on my heel. It's amazing. It is amazing.
Now, do you know any people our age that aren't on medications?
No,
Right. They
no.
usually have one or two or three
Oh yeah,
somewhere along the way, right?
yeah,
So
exactly.
I think we really are showing how to do it and do it
I
right.
know. I
Yes.
don't know why people don't want to do this. It's to me, it's the easiest thing in the world. I used to cook. Okay, first of all, I like to cook. It used to take me hours and hours though, because I'd be looking up recipes, um, cooking the protein, cooking the sides, making the salad. I mean, you think about how much time all that takes. Now I have a great air fryer. I have a grill. I have an outdoor kitchen with a grill. I have a griddle. I love it. It is so easy now.
Speaking of cooking all the time, so I call them my La Nietas, which are my fraternal twin granddaughters. We have them like Wednesday night. My husband takes them to school on Thursday and he brings them back from school on Thursday afternoon. So they have my meal with me, right?
Uh-huh.
And I usually go to the grocery store, get them bell peppers, get them some raspberries, what else, like avocados and some other things. And then they'll have a piece of meat with me. And I was thinking, boy, every week there's a lot of dishes. There's a lot of dishes for this
Yeah.
one meal, and I have to make a concerted effort to go get them their foods that they'll eat and like little carrot sticks and stuff like that. So they
Oh,
eat kind of ketogenically when they're here with me.
yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, this is a lot of work when I
I
could just
know.
take the meat out and this is all I'm eating and eggs. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
I know. I love
So
it.
it's
I love it.
insane. Yeah, it's a simple way to live. But
Hmm.
Miss Patricia, what I do want to ask you, so my story is back in 2018, I first found out about the ketogenic diet. And, I was telling you earlier that it was like God was telling me that I needed to get out of the career that I was in.
Hmm.
My health would not be restored mentally and emotionally and physically and even spiritually if I stayed in that field trying to get to retirement, right?
Yeah.
So I had heard about the ketogenic diet around that time frame. I was like 238.8. I'm 6 feet tall, but still it's an issue, right? It was a weight issue. And I had always dieted. And I had like a 10-year weight loss success, but I was obsessive with it. I was obsessively counting calories. I was just compulsive. I was still
Hmm.
binging a lot, eating all the wrong foods, but I thought they were healthy foods and the whole
Yes.
nine. And so I literally allowed life to beat me into submission, right? But I had to come back out fighting and give it one more chance, right? And
Hmm.
with God's help and a lot of prayers and a lot of work, I pulled through. So I always like to ask my guests if there was someone out there with your same exact circumstances gaining weight that they weren't happy with in their 40s or 50s and doing a plant-based diet, feeling bloated, eating salads for 3 or 4 hours a day, and they weren't getting anywhere and not losing weight. And they just said, "This is it. I'm done. I'm not going to try anymore. I'm sitting on the couch. This is how I'm going to live the rest of my life because I've
Hmm.
tried everything under the sun." What words of wisdom could you give that person or those folks to help them to get up off the couch again and try one more time? Because believe me, this time might be the time that
Yeah.
it actually
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah. There are a lot of people living like that. But I I like the fact that this is a way of eating that many people not only are changing their life, but improving. I mean, they are improving everything about their life. So, the person who's sitting on the couch, if maybe they don't even know about the carnivore diet, they probably don't know about it. And I would say, do your research, get motivated. Watch these YouTube videos. Learn how other people are changing their life. If I mean, there's a 700-pound woman out there that changed her life. I mean, come on. You can do this. You can do this. Eat right and research and listen to your body and start one day at a time and put it in your head that this is not a diet. This is for the rest of your life. That's what I think about. I don't want I don't want to be on medication. I don't want to be in a nursing home. I want to be able to live and enjoy my life and enjoy my grandkids and get on the floor and play with them and be able to get back up.
Right on, right
And
on.
if you're not able to do that right now, it's because of the food that you are eating, most probably.
Thank you for that. So you had mentioned that you was counting macros, trying to get your proteins, fat, and carbs just right with your macros. Was that a certain dietary protocol that you were following? Was it like keto, paleo, or
No,
anything?
it was I don't know. It My husband's son was counting macros, and he was telling us that he was losing weight and feeling better. So we decided to do the same thing, you know.
So were you just eating the foods that you like and making them fit into your
Yes,
macros?
yes.
And so the reason I'm asking this question is would you recommend that somebody like taper down their carbohydrates or maybe go to the ketogenic diet first and then ketovore first and then carnivore, or would you just tell them to rip off the Band-Aid and go for it?
Well, I no, I think it just depends on your personality. I mean, my personality, I dove in and I'm like, I don't want to eat another carb for the rest of my life. No, but some people can do that, but you don't have to do that. You're going to be doing this for the rest of your life. So if you can eliminate they're just maybe just the drinks that you're having, the sugar drinks you're having, that makes a big difference. Do that for a little while and then start eliminating another carb that is not, beneficial to you. You do, I mean, if you can't just go cold turkey and jump in like I did, then it's probably better to just start eliminating a little bit at a time. And then that way you won't feel so bad.
So the problem that I had in December 2nd, 2018 is when I committed to intermittent fasting and the ketogenic diet, right? I spent 13, 14 months trying to get it right. And I kept binging. For me, compulsively binging was a problem, right? So I would constantly be triggered by foods that were allowed on keto, right?
Yeah.
I do really
Mhm.
well for 2 days and then just do a nosedive because I've had cashews or berries or something. There was a lot
Yeah.
of triggers in there. And then I went carnivore in January of 2020. But even though I went carnivore, the first 4 months or so were really peaceful until Miss Patricia, I decided to take a day off from that way of eating. And I went
Yeah.
back to the standard American diet to celebrate like Easter with some kind of holiday. And
Yeah.
then, it was a couple of days before I reeled it back in. And this pattern kept repeating until I finally understood that there's certain foods that I could no longer eat. But this is what I've also found out that throughout the years, as our body heals and we become mentally better, we're not so inflamed and
Yeah.
whatnot, and we're stronger around certain foods. And when I say certain foods, it's like I can walk into Starbucks. What I used to eat 5 and 10 years ago, it won't
Hmm.
even faze me to sit
Oh
up in there
no.
for 2 or 3 hours. It is what it is. You can sit at the
Hmm.
table with me and eat what you eat, but it doesn't trigger me, right? So
Hmm.
that gets better with time. Foods that used to trigger you the first year or two
Yeah.
in doesn't trigger you 5 years down the road,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And then some people test the waters, and some people are so scared that they never test the waters. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, that you might have a little bit of rice here and
Hmm.
there, and I
Yeah.
might have an avocado. As a matter of fact, I had an avocado last night with my girls, you
Hmm.
know. And so there's some things that I will eat. There's some processed foods that I will eat,
Yeah.
and then there's some that I will never touch because I know the effect it has on me. Do you have any foods that you totally refrain from because you tested the waters and you found yourself liking them a little too much again? Or are you okay with whatever you choose to eat?
I used to have I used to graze while I cooked. Okay, so I was, in the process of cooking my meal, my dinner, but I also have like a charcuterie board with the crackers, the cheese, the grapes, the strawberries, and I would graze the entire time I was cooking. And I think it was a habit. It was like a just a routine. I'd start, okay, I'm about to cook my dinner. Let me get my charcuterie board out, and I just had to change that routine, change that habit. And I don't do that anymore. And I'm telling you, that made a huge difference. Oh, I also had the chips and the salsa out too. Chips, that I'm not a big sugar eater, but I loved my chips and salsa. And I don't do that anymore. I just changed the habit. And I cook my food, I eat my food, and I'm done. Hmm.
And so do you snack it all in between meals, or is it just two squares and you're good?
I eat until I'm full, so I don't graze and don't snack. I have no desire for it anymore. But I will eat a big lunch and a smaller dinner on a regular basis. Unless if I know I'm going out to dinner, then I'll save myself for a steak, because I know I'm gonna get a steak.
Sounds reasonable. And then I had shared with you prior to us talking that it's been 6 years since I had alcohol and whatnot. So I've met a lot of carnivore women who do have the occasional, alcohol beverage. And I'm like, you still got you still got your carnivore card, girl. You still got it. So what about you? What's your perspective on alcohol? Do you occasionally have wine or a drink here and there?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm from
Okay.
Louisiana.
Okay. Okay.
No, I do I can tell you right now I drink a lot less than I did before I started carnivore. When I started carnivore, I just didn't have the desire for it anymore because it did not make me feel good at all. The next morning I would pay for it. And I said, I don't want to feel like this anymore. It doesn't, it doesn't, it just derails me. I don't have that energy to go walking even. And so I was like, I can't, you know. Now on occasion I'll have my glass of red wine with my steak, but my drinking is just a lot less.
What I found with alcohol for me was it was becoming a close second addiction to food. Like I had
Oh,
my
yeah,
very specific foods that I liked on the daily at certain
yeah,
times of the week, whatever. And then for a short stretch of time, I was a weekend binge drinker just trying to get through life, just trying to
yep.
get through
Oh,
life. I
yeah.
had shared with you, I was in corrections, just the weekends, everybody's at home, meaning a dog, a husband, and a child. It wasn't like it was a whole house full of people, but I just didn't have time to decompress and spend full days by myself. And with drinking becoming a quick second, I had to really recognize, and I
Yeah.
made the decision to choose food because food would always be there. So I
Hmm.
scaled off on the drinking every weekend and would just drink like after races or for
Yeah.
certain occasions and stuff. But I found that it lifted my moods for the moment, right? For the moment, the party's
Hmm.
over here, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
next morning, in the next couple of days, depressed
Yeah.
as hell. So it
Oh
really
yeah.
affected
Oh
with
yeah.
my mental illness and my depression and whatnot. But I
Yeah.
felt better in the moment. Have you ever had experiences like that, be it with food or medication or even alcohol, where you are in a zone, be it a couple of weeks, couple of months, you're feeling really, really good every time you consume said, alcohol or food, but then you pay for it 10 times over for the next few days?
Hmm. Yes. I mean, that's why I had to dial down on the alcohol because, you know, you were out partying and all your friends are drinking and you're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go for it. And then it's just not, it's not a good feeling. And then, you feel guilty. And then it's like, I did all this work and now I have to start over. And sometimes, it may take you 3 days to recover from something like that. And I hate it. When I do it, I hate it. But, it's, I mean, we have to live and we're not perfect people. And, you learn from your mistakes. And now I do drink a lot less because of the way I remember the way it made me feel. And I don't want to feel like that. I like to have my energy, I like to be positive about myself. And, it's, we're not, like I said, we're not going to be perfect every day, but you do remember, oh, I'm not going there because it, it does make me feel really, really bad.
Oh, with that being said, feeling really bad, it's kind of like carnivore, becoming older and experiencing carnivore full time. And I do have a moment here or there where I have my exceptions. So my carnivore card is still on the table. Only I can take that away from me, right?
Yeah.
So this past May, I stopped wearing wigs, weaves, braids, and all that good stuff and started wearing my natural hair, which was a big move for me because I had been doing all those since I was 18.
Wow.
And that was a part of my anxiety too. If I didn't get my hairstyle changed in 6 weeks, I was like, oh, I got to go to the hairdresser. It was just one of those things
Yeah.
that stayed caught up in, like with Amazon, right? So I had let go of my hair weaves, but I freely let it go. And by July, I was like, oh, I'm feeling good in my own
Yeah.
hair. Then July 23rd, after drinking coffee since I was like in my early 20s to help me deal with my depression. But get this, it was the sugar and the creamer and the caffeine combination
Oh,
several times a day that was helping me with my mood adjustment. But drinking it black for like the past 6 years, I had given up a lot of things. And I said, I can still do my Starbucks 2 or 3 times a day, black coffee, no problem. But I was using it almost at a pathological level because I was thinking, like, what else do I have? I've given up everything else. You know how you
yeah.
start things, stop things,
Oh,
you
yeah.
challenge yourself to quit. So July 23rd of this year, I just said, F it, F it.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm never looking back. So I haven't had a sip of coffee. I won't do decaf because that's too close to the real thing, and I'll
Oh,
throw it
yeah.
out and eventually get the real thing. So there's a lot of things that I've given up with carnivore very freely. It's just cleared up a lot. And even acrylic nails, I used to wear makeup all the time, and it's like, wow, I'm becoming the girl that I once was. Has carnivore helped you to give up anything that you used to just like love? It could even be perfume or over
Mhm.
exercising. Has it helped you to balance out in other areas of your life?
I gave a, I mean, I just don't have a desire anymore for chips. I used to eat, I mean, bags of chips. I mean, I loved the crunch. You know what I mean? I just had to have that crunch. And now I just don't desire it anymore. I mean, I don't know if I could think of anything else, but because everybody knew I I was the chip person. If I'm coming to a party, I'm bringing some chips, But now I just don't have that desire anymore. And I think it's because I changed, like I said, I changed the routine and the habit. Um, and I just don't have that desire anymore for it.
That's pretty major then, if that was the one thing and you gave
Mhm.
it up or you just
Mhm.
don't have the desire anymore. That's pretty
No.
major, girl.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right. So before we close out, I do want to ask, is there anything that you'd like to share that perhaps we didn't cover? Um, maybe women that are 50 years old and older that can pique
Mhm.
their ear or
Yeah.
anything.
Um, well, like I said, my skin is a lot better. Like I said, my heels are not cracking anymore. Um, I also had a problem with my bladder. Um, I mean, before I started carnivore, I could not jump on a rebounder, couldn't jump on a trampoline. I couldn't run um without putting like a, pad on or something like that, because I mean, I didn't have control of my bladder. I mean, I would sneeze and it would just, I would be wet. And now it's it's just amazing. I didn't do it like I didn't go to the doctor and have a bladder suspension or anything. It just it just fixed itself, I guess. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't have that problem anymore. It's just amazing. So that, I mean, if anyone is having that problem, I mean, a lot of women do have, after you have kids, you do have bladder problems. And I thought, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go get a bladder suspension. It was bad. It was really bad. And I did go to the doctor a long time ago and to check it out because I didn't know what to do. That was way before carnivore. And I didn't I didn't go through with it. I thought, well, let me try a couple of more years to see if I can strengthen it or something. I don't know. I just didn't want to go through with any kind of surgery. But now I don't even have the problem. I do not have that problem anymore. It's amazing. Hmm.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I know that that can be a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And, regardless of the age, come on, let's be candid now, regardless of the age, right?
Yeah.
It
Oh yeah.
does happen
Oh yeah.
periodically, if not
Yeah.
often. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, friends, thank you so much for joining Miss Patricia and me on this special edition, transformation story edition of the Carnivore Connection, where you have heartfelt and soulful conversations. And until now, oh, you know what? Where can folks find you at? Is there
Um,
anything you want them to know where they can find you at?
yeah, I have an email address that they can send me a message if they want to talk to me. It's tecooleger at gmail.com.
We'll include that in the show notes too.